Hello, I'm Vance. I'm the Nexxtoil rep.
I'm Tom. I am the seller.
Tom, how you doing?
Good. Good to see you.
Pleasure to meet
Vance.
with you.
I really like Nexxtoil.
That's great.
We've been working with them for 12 years.
That's correct.
Been running the station.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to sell the station.
Correct.
Let me get a little more information about what you're looking to buy and what you
Sure.
have your needs.
So our interest is in really coming to your. We think your station is very valuable, and we are looking to expand in the LA area.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would like to, through our negotiation, work out a deal where we can acquire your station. What is it that is making you guys part with this beautiful facility after 12 years?
Well, right now it's just my wife and I that own it. And part of the reason she's not here today is that we've been working 18-hour shifts 6 days a week for the past 12 years. So she's actually started to get some illness. The doctor says she needs to reduce time. So we could invest a whole lot more capital and hire some new staff, start running 24 hours, open up a mini mart, really make this thing pump out the money.
Right.
Or we could pull back and stop working altogether. And as it is, we're already putting in too much time,
Sure.
so we don't want to put in more time.
Sure.
But it's a great location.
Yeah.
The port's open 24 hours. Right now the station's only open 12 hours.
Right.
Or no, it's open
16?
16 hours.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's big room there.
For sure. Okay. So are you looking, you would like to not have the burden of working.
Yes.
You also are looking for medical costs.
Not medical costs, no. She's not sick yet,
She's not sick
But-
yet, but you're looking for the burden of not working.
not working.
Okay.
Our ideal situation
Mm-hmm.
is that we're going to retire,
Sure.
or not retire, take a sabbatical for 2 years and travel around the world in a boat.
Okay.
Then we're gonna come back and get new jobs in 2 years.
Okay.
So we'd be interested in structuring the deal somehow that we get a lot of the money up front,
Sure.
but get some of the money in 2 years. Because we don't need everything right now. We're gonna need some money when we get back from our boat trip. So if there's a way we could structure it, so you give some up front and then some in 2 years, or all of it up front's fine too. But if for whatever reason you need more time,
Okay.
we can wait for some of the money for 2 years.
And I hear that, and I'd like to make that happen. Do you have an estimate about how much money you're looking to have?
Yeah, ideal, I was thinking we would get 500,000 now, and then in 2 years, we'd get another 200,000.
Okay.
And if there's a lot of risk in this with you, I'm not sure exactly the risks you're facing,
Sure.
but we might think of a way to structure that 200,000, so maybe we can take on a little bit of the
Right.
risk.
So, I guess from our perspective, the 5,000 now would be tough.
500 now? Yep.
500,000 now would be tough. But I do think that there is ways that we can structure. I think there are ways that we can structure the 2 years
Mm-hmm.
to maximize how much that you guys are getting.
Okay.
Right.
So what are the constraints and concerns on your end?
Sure. So we are interested in the mini mart as well, and thinking about potentially, given that you guys have already thought about that,
Mm-hmm.
how can we make that something that both of us can benefit from? And then as far as just flat out up front, 500,000 is too much, right? So we were thinking more along the lines of like potentially, and I think this would even be a little high, like 400,000. I would love to structure it some way where we could get that number lower, but also have back end potentially a share of revenues within the first 2 years where you guys may take a higher portion and then maybe we take more later.
Yeah.
Because I do think that that part is important for you.
Yeah, so what kind of flexibility if you know what you have, to
Mhm.
structure it so we can get some kind of payout over the next 2 years. You know,
We can
revenue
get as
share.
creative as we want right now,
Oh, okay,
right?
yeah,
We value your property,
yep,
and we know that it will be profitable. And so we also want you to be happy, given that you've been with us for 12 years.
yep,
So let's start for a little bit on this mini mart.
yep.
Do you have information on potentially how much this could cost, or have you guys thought about it? You know, what has held you from it?
I don't know if I have specific dollars for how much it would cost.
Okay.
The primary reason we're not doing this is
Yeah.
just the amount of work it's been, and that it's gonna increase in work if we start building this mini mart.
Okay.
We do have an estimate that if you were to not work with us and to just do this all on your own,
Yeah.
the all-in cost would be about $650,000 to buy the land and build a comparable station.
Right. Yeah. We don't really want to do that.
But we do not have information, I don't know exactly how much the mini mart will cost.
Okay. Yeah, we're pricing the mini mart at 125,000 extra,
Okay,
but you're not sure how much revenue that brings.
no.
Interesting.
I can tell you right now, without the mini mart, it's bringing in about, I think it's about 75 a year.
Yeah.
Profit?
I have that.
Okay,
Okay. So what I have as well is if you're bringing in 75 a year
mm-hmm,
and you're open 16 hours a day, 96 a week, correct?
Yeah.
16 times 6, right? So I have your income per hour at 15, essentially.
okay,
And then if we take that up to us running at 24 hours, using the same 15, that means that we have a difference in annual income of $56,250.
okay,
Now, I think there are ways that we can, so after 1 year, even after 3 years, our income would be about almost $400,000. So what I'm thinking is structuring some sort of deal where we are paying a lower cost upfront
okay,
in return for potentially you taking a really large portion of this revenue in year 1 and year 2.
yep, that would be,
In
year 1
ways
and year
that-
2 would be good.
In ways so that those 2 years, you guys have what you want,
Mm-hmm,
and then we'll have the land at discounted, although we don't want 650, right?
yep,
Rather than doing that ourselves.
so what were you thinking, what were the numbers you said for income per year? I didn't, if you guys
Yeah.
do expanded operations?
So income per year if we did 24 hours,
Yeah,
131,250. This has nothing to do with the mini mart,
oh, okay,
because I'm
so you don't have any mini mart numbers?
we don't know. All we know is the mini mart would probably cost us 125,000, and that we don't know that it might give us greater profits, but we're not positive, right? So what we can do. What kind of job are you looking for in 2 years?
Not at a gas station.
So you don't want to run a mini mart in 2 years?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure I specifically do not want to do that.
That's fine. It's understandable. Okay. So again, you guys are looking for all right. So let's see here. If we do your annual income right now, so what I'm just trying to figure out, right? Let's say that we acquire it and then we give you what you're making now.
75 a year?
75 a year, that puts you at 150 over 2 years, right?
Yep.
If we then structured that to give, let's just see here. Um, just trying to figure out here, just real quick. So if we then did that and, I'm trying to remember, you said your numbers were 500, 2 years, you need 200,000.
So you're saying 150?
I'm just saying, like, I think we can agree for you guys, for sure, that we can at least, I'm trying to hit that 200 number right now, right? So
Okay.
I want to give you 200 in 2 years.
Okay.
Right.
And if we can do 200 in 2 years, then I think something in the 400 range right now would be reasonable.
Okay, so let's see if we do 200 in 2 years, right? So I essentially give you you give your 75 in the first year.
Yep.
Well, we did, 75 in year one, right? And then essentially 125 in year two, right? That's 200,000.
Yeah, and that would be enough.
Can we negotiate then the cost now?
So I think we could do 400 now if you're saying 75 and then, was it 125? Is it the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope now that we could come down on the cost, potentially now for arranging the structure of maybe future revenues.
Okay, so how certain would the 75 and 125 be before we came down on the initial price?
I mean, I can shake on that now.
Okay, so it's not tied to revenue or anything, it's just, we can just say those numbers in the future?
Yes, if my calculations are correct, if the income lasts, we're taking this, then this is not even with a mini mart, right? This is just incomes. If we're doing that, then yeah, I think we'd be fine. You know, we're a major company, so we're right there.
Okay.
Giving you guys those.
So even if the mini mart was more expensive or wasn't as profitable as you thought, which I think it will be profitable, I don't have any information against it. Just, if I'm gonna not take as much now and put my life savings in the line, that hopefully it shows up in 2 years, I just need to be pretty sure that it'll show up in 2 years.
Yeah, I'd be confident in saying that we'll give that to you.
Okay. So that's 200, so how low are you thinking of going now?
Let's see.
I mean, 400 now is pretty good. Going below 400 now it starts to get kind of tricky for me.
Right, I understand that. So, what I'm almost considering, what I'd like to do is do the 400 and subtract the cost of the mini mart. So that'd be 400 minus 125.
So 275?
275.
That's too low right now for what I'm,
Okay.
yeah, that's too low. I wouldn't be able to make things meet with this boat trip if I went that low.
Okay.
Could you do 325 now?
Let's see.
Even that, I mean, 325 is really scraping the bottom for me.
We could. I'm wondering if there's a way to I mean, you would want the money up and then this money for your family, right?
Yeah, we would want this, say 325, we'd want that right now. A year from now, we could do the 75, 2 years from now, it could be the 125. And that would work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Is, excuse my calculations, right? So let me just, why did that not, that's why. They just gave me this thing at work. I don't know how to use it yet. All right, let's see. Let me just take this. Okay. Mm. Okay. Just running the numbers now, and it looks like we do the 200,000 for you on the front end here, that our end revenue would be 456,250, given essentially the hours that I was just mentioned earlier. And so if we had the subtracting the cost that we were paying, right? What did you say again? 325?
325.
Right, then that is essentially 1 year's, it comes down to 1 year's revenue essentially. Okay. I'm wondering if there's,
I could go down to 300 at the first payment if you could add 25 more onto one of the other 2 payments.
so you're saying increase
Increase it to,
100,000, so you'd be at 225?
yeah, so maybe the final payment's 150 or this first payment is 100.
My boss would be upset if you took more than the year's income. So let's see if we, as we make this 100.
So we can do 300 now, and then 100, then 125.
Let's see.
I mean, maybe with the mini mart opening, revenue will be so high in the second year that just,
Not sure about the numbers on that. Do you have no information on how profitable this mini mart could be?
no. It says you think it'd be a good idea, but you needed the time or the motivation to do it.
This says that we think. Do you have information on how much it costs in terms of like environmental regulations
Yes.
or
So,
updating pumps.
yep,
Okay,
I do. So right now, the equipment, although not state-of-the-art, meets all environmental requirements. The
okay,
station has never had any difficulty passing its annual environmental inspections. Yeah, and that's it. There's a loyal customer base who likes Nexxtoil products and are unlikely to switch. So we meet all the environmental requirements right now. We've never had any
Mhm.
trouble meeting them.
there's no but here? Like, but if
No.
you were to, it would
Oh,
be
that's
this.
the question is, you
Yeah.
guys have to be sure about that.
Right,
I guess that's just the you know what? How about we structure the deal so it's contingent upon us being at those environmental requirements?
okay,
We can make those two payments contingent on that you don't have to upgrade anything due to environmental issues.
okay. Does this include upgrading pumps and mechanical pumps?
All the equipment meets environmental requirements. It's never had any difficulty passing its annual environmental inspection. So that would include all the pumps. I mean, it's not state of the art. So if this would be upgraded to meet some new truck requirement, it doesn't mention that, but I'm just saying, we wouldn't be at that level. But all environmental stuff is met, and I'm willing to make those
Right.
future payments contingent upon you not having to meet environmental standards. So, I can say take my word on it, and I can say we won't get paid all the money unless it is up to those standards.
Right. Okay. What if I might try and do you one better here.
Okay.
Let me just figure this out in 1 second.
All right, we're going strong with 22, so
Okay,
we can get it in the next 5. That'll be
I think
golden.
we should be able to. So that's now that. If this becomes what about this? I understand you want money sooner rather than later.
Yep.
What if we gave you the entire first year of income, and then gave you, so for us, we're pricing that at 131,250
For the whole first year?
for the whole first year, and then gave you what you needed to get to 200,000, which is 68,750 the second year, right? So you're still at 200,000 over 2 years.
Oh, okay,
Would you
so
be
what would
willing?
what would the initial payment be in that case?
How much you make right away, year one?
Yeah, well, so there's gonna be an initial payment, right, and then there's a year 1 and year 2 payment.
Right, that's what I
Yeah.
would like to, so I'm saying year one payment would be 131,250, right? Year two's payment would be 68,750, sorry. And that totals up to 200,000, right? So you get your 200,000 2 years.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if we can lower now that 300 price, given that we're giving you the entire first year's income.
well, I thought we had agreed upon the second payment would be 125 earlier, and now you're saying 68,000 instead of 125? So
Right.
we agreed on 200,000 before, you're still saying
What I'm trying to do is
200,000?
just get you the money first.
We need at least 300 up front, otherwise,
Right, so
can't
if
do
we
the
did,
deal.
you mean at least 300 for the cost right now.
yeah.
Okay,
Then 200 over the next 2 years, like you just proposed, is okay. So that structure's okay, but we would need 300,000 right now, 131 next year, 68 the year after that. And we can make those two other ones contingent upon not having to make any environmental improvements.
right. So you're saying that if we have some environmental issues from the equipment,
Yeah,
then we don't pay you those.
yeah. Yeah, if it's our fault, you know, if you guys break something, you can't take it back.
Could be some legal fees there, but I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Well, we can have our lawyers craft it
Right, we'll have the
perfectly
lawyers
after
craft it
this.
afterwards,
Yeah,
right?
you have big corporate lawyers.
This is true.
Though to be fair, their time's probably not worth the size of this deal.
Right. So you're saying 300,000 up front,
Mm-hmm.
131, you take the year income total, you take 2 year, you have 131, 250 up front, 68, 750 on the back end.
Yeah, and I mean that's as low as, it's pretty low. 500 total is what you're paying now, and that's pretty much the lowest I can go.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that meets my absolute minimum, but just barely. Does that deal meet your minimum? The 300,
It does.
then 131, then 68?
I think my boss will be happy. I think that your family will be happy. I hope your wife will be happy.
Okay, so we'll agree right now, 300 up front.
300 up front right now,
Year one, it's gonna be 131, 250,
contingent upon
the
no
environmental.
upgrades
Yep.
needed.
And then the year after that is gonna be 68,750, also contingent upon no
contingent, right.
environmental upgrades. Yep,
And then you guys can go on your road trip.
yep, and
Right,
come back
do
and have a
things.
little money.
Right.
Okay,
Do you agree?
I agree,
Let's
sounds
do it,
good.
buddy. Hey, been a pleasure.
Good deal.
All right, take care.
Alright, let's turn this off.